And I know that these guys are working very hard with what we're allocating to them to do the very best that they can. And I hope today that as we look at some of these issues, we can help maybe come to some of the solutions and work together. Some of them are going to be legislative of nature, and I know some of them may particularly be with the department. But in that spirit, please take it away, Ed.
Thank you, Representative Knight, Chairman O'Neill, members of the House Committee, members of the Senate. Thank you for inviting the department here today. I did have a prepared speech, but I may just go into, I guess, denial at the moment. Today's topic is about compliance and the ease of compliance, and I think that Brad was right on point. We're talking about in that area of voluntary compliance and involuntary compliance, if you will. And I will address some of the things. I think you're right, Representative Knight. A lot of what I heard today, and I think that Brad would agree, that discussion has been started with the department. We meet pretty regularly with the Georgia Society of CPAs, and as I recall, many of the things that you saw in the overhead and is in your handout are things that can be worked out with the department. I kept seeing the word rule. And the rules go through, any rule that we promulgate goes through a public comment period for at least 30 days, and we send out the proposed rule to the House Ways and Means Committee, the Senate Finance Committee, several members of the public, so everybody is able to comment on those rules, and we're going to be glad to be working with Brad on a lot of those things. I think he's got some good issues there. Some things we can do something about, some things we can't. And to the extent that it needs any legislative help, that's where you folks come in. I want to talk about voluntary compliance, and that's business e-file and e-pay initiatives. Commissioner Graham is on vacation, a long-deserved vacation, and speaking just as an aside, one of the comments, voluntary compliance has e-file, it has education and guidance, and it has customer service. And when Commissioner Graham came to the department, I'm sure he's told you this story, but I'll tell everybody again because I was on the other end of this story. When he came to the department 3 years ago this June, he had a senior staff meeting of all the directors, and I was out of the country at the time. And he told the story at the senior staff meeting about someone in the compliance division, which I currently head up, who had sent him a notice, an erroneous notice, Mr. Chairman, a notice, and I think it was a keying error on the return where 60 should have been, or 6,000 should have been 6, one way or the other. It was a keying error. And so I had an attorney that working for me who was a tax auditor who came and left in a short period of time to work for the FBI, and I was sorry to lose him, but he wrote a sort of a legal letter, and he never once apologized. And so the moral of that story is not one person in that senior staff meeting told me about that story until I was in some other public forum, so I thought I'd help Commissioner Graham tell that story today. Again, we didn't apologize, and we need to do a better job of that. Current business e-file initiatives. He talked about some of this last meeting. I know he talked about collectability, and we're talking about compliance. We have gone to an e-file initiative for withholding taxes, which is already online and working. And those are all our folks that are required to file electronically currently, or pay electronically. Now they have to file electronically, excuse me. And all our sales tax folks that are required to pay electronically will be filing electronically. The General Assembly allows the commissioner to take that e-filing initiative down to a low level. Currently, it's set at $10,000 a return for sales tax, and if you're on a semi-weekly basis for the federal government, you're generally on a semi-weekly basis for us, so we get it quite often, and that's working very well. Those folks will be filing electronically, so I think it'll save some problems with the returns, and I'll talk about some return things you can consider. I'm not sure that they're going to be politically palatable, but I'll talk about those in a little while. That program is working very well. Sales tax is coming online in September, and then motor fuel will be coming online. And so far it's working very well. Our IVR, or for our smaller businesses, for folks that have zero liability, for example, on sales tax returns, or zero liability on withholding tax returns. I know the governor was concerned about not everybody having a computer out there. Those folks will be able to call in on a number and file their return over the phone. So I think that's going to help a lot of small businesses. We are currently participating in the corporate and partnership e-file project with IRS. Am I happy with the progress? No, but that's not within our control. It's piggybacking the corporate e-file system with the federal, and we're working with the vendor CCH, and they've run into some problems, but we're one of the few states that are participating in that project and one of the few states participating in the partnership project. And I'm expecting the corporate e-file, which the society is concerned about, to be online within the month. And I know they've probably heard that story for the last 7 or 8 months, but unfortunately some of that's been out of our control, and working with a software vendor, which you have to have, that's who you have to have work with you. Education and guidance. I think you heard that we do a lot of educational seminars. We attempt to reach out to small businesses. We have them all over the state. We do advertise them heavily. Some are better attended than others, and generally they're well received and you can get good information. We've done a lot of regulations since the Commissioner formed the Tax Law and Policy Group, and we've done a lot of, probably over 30 regulations in the last 15 to 18 months. That's more than we've done in the last 10 years to clarify what's out there in the law. We worked very quickly with the automobile dealers on an issue during the last legislative session, a regulation was needed dealing with some loaner car issues,